Hey, this is my brother Hollywood, and Lil Chobi, Bam, my dog Itchy, and Lil Trav. I dedicate this to the struggle, everybody in the county jail, state pen, and the feds. Check it out.
101.7 The Truth. Happy Monday, Milwaukee. You are officially tapped in with your girl, Jazz Tyler. I hope that you all had an amazing weekend. A lot has happened. We're going to get into it today. So I have to be completely transparent with y'all because, again, this is more than just radio to me. This is family. You guys are family. And I almost didn't know how I even wanted to approach today's show because I lost two people this weekend within 24 hours of each other, one day apart. And when death comes that close together, something happens. And you start to look at things differently. You start thinking about conversations you had. You start thinking about people you should have called, things you thought you had more time to say. And one of those people I lost was Joseph Smalls Jackson. Huge shout out to Joker, to Jasmine Jackson, his sister, his family. If you listen to the morning show, Homer talked about it a little bit as well, and he's actually the person who gave me the call. And if you were watching the interview I had with Homer, we talked about Smalls a lot because he was the person who Homer introduced me to, who guided me and introduced me to the music industry. He played a role in my music career. He played a role in my journey. And ultimately, he played a role in the success that eventually put me in this chair today. So I got to send my condolences to his family, to all of the close friends, to Joker, his best friends, Zaytoven, everybody who was around him, who he impacted. We all are experiencing the same exact feeling. And I think the worst part of it all is not... When it's a situation where a person wasn't murdered, it's harder to deal with because you have no one to blame. There's no one to blame. There's no one to place your anger on. And you have to go back to living an everyday life like it's normal, and that's the part that's not fair. So all weekend I've been thinking about some things, thinking about what happens to our story when we are no longer here to tell it. The second call I received was actually from someone who you guys may see in the chat often, Kawanda. I've known Kawanda since I was 15. And she called me at 3 this morning to tell me that someone who was a very good friend of mine, her brother, passed away as well. And this was less than 24 hours of me getting a call about Smalls. So again, full transparency, we're going to get through this today. It's going to be a great day. But do understand that I'm trying my best. If you see me, show some love, social media or in person, because I need it. I do. August 17th, nearly 30 years after 2Pac Shakur was murdered, opening statements began in the trial of the man prosecutors say orchestrated his killing. And they are not telling a story about Tupac. Then there's Nolan Wells, an 18-year-old young man from Mississippi, dead after a 4th of July trip to Horn Island. His family is fighting for answers because they don't believe they have the complete story about what happened to their child. And then yesterday, I'm sure you all have seen the news, heard the radio, social media. It's the last day of State Fair. And young people were once again caught on video fighting. And now they have a story being told about them. These kids are terrible. This generation is lost. They don't have any home training. And suddenly I realized that's the show. Because every story we are discussing today comes down to the same question. Who gets to write your story? Sometimes you live your entire life and one moment becomes your headline, right? I want to start with Smalls because before I talk about Pac and Nolan, before we criticize the young people, I need to acknowledge somebody who contributed to my story. People see me today as a radio host, community, advocate. I've worked in entertainment, music, interviews, opportunities, all of the above, but nobody becomes who they are alone. Somebody introduced me to somebody. Somebody believed in me. Somebody opened a door for me, and somebody gave me information. Somebody encouraged me when I wasn't the version of myself that everybody recognizes today. And when these people transition and pass away, you realize that some of your success has somebody else's fingerprints on it. That's legacy. That is the true meaning of legacy. And I never thought that I'd make it this far in my career only to not be able to celebrate with the very person who played a huge part in that, right? Maybe that's what we misunderstand about legacy. Legacy isn't what people post about when you die. Legacy is the part of you that keeps living inside somebody else. And Smalls, I want you to know part of you is sitting behind this microphone right now. And I hope that I have made you proud. Actually, I know I did, because he made a comment on the interview that me and Homer did. And he reached out to me and said he was proud. And that's all I ever wanted to do. Same with Homer, same with anybody who has played a role in jazz becoming jazz. All I ever wanted to do was make them proud. So I have a hard question for you all. You don't necessarily have to call in, just something to think about. If somebody who helped make you who you are died tonight, would they already know what they meant to you? Why do we wait until someone passed away before we create these long paragraphs on social media, or before we, get to the funeral and stand up and have these incredible stories? These are moments and stories that should be told while they are here. And these two situations happening back to back. So I want to give you guys a timeline, because again, if you are just joining us, there's a lot that's happening. There's a lot that's been happening. You guys are family, and I want to be transparent, but also because I understand there's people listening who are battling things and continuously battling things. And every day you have to walk around with a smile. Every day you got to go to work, because they will replace you if you don't. Because people care, but life still goes on. And even though we don't get time to sit in whatever it is that we're dealing with, the best thing to do is to talk through it. I'm a firm believer in having conversations with people you care about to express whatever it is that you're feeling, so that you can keep your sanity, right? That's what it's about. But November, I went to the hospital for a procedure. They almost killed me. So I had to deal with that for a month of recovery. April, lost my uncle. July, lost my uncle. May, my daughter lost her best friend. And then this past weekend, I lost 2 more people that was close to me. And when you begin to think about lives, when you begin to think about how much people care about you, it puts life into a different perspective. And it makes you be more grateful, right? Not that you aren't, but it forces you to be more grateful. It forces you to call people you haven't talked to in a while and tell them that how you feel and that you love them. And it forces you to start to think about things that you hadn't thought about in so many years. And I was having a conversation with my brother Larry, and we was talking about the full circle of life and how death is the ultimate ending, but you die multiple times in your life. And what I mean by that is the more you grow, the more you transition, the more you let go of an old life and who you used to be and create a new one. And the things that's happening now are all people who I met in the same timeline 15 years ago at the same exact time. So the way that it's coming back now is the same exact way to when I met them, which means that that's a pattern, which means that it's a full circle, which also forces me to be extremely grateful that I am here, but also begin to pay attention to these things and to make sure that I am doing everything that I am supposed to do. Now I'm forced to go back and think about everyone who has impacted my life in some shape or form, whether it was advice, whether it was financially, whatever it was, but just all of the people who have taken time to put their energy into me because they seen something in me. I'm now retracting those conversations. I'm now remembering those conversations that I once stopped remembering. I'm now going back to this specific timeline to make sure that I am doing my due diligence. And I want to continue to, help push those who have impacted me legacy. So I vow to continue to push Small's legacy. I didn't know Pac. I am a board member for his foundation, and I love his family, and they love me, and I vow to continue his legacy as well. And I don't know Nolan Wells, never had the pleasure of meeting that young man, but I didn't know him to know that his life was cut too short to the point where he never got a chance to finish his legacy. And me going over his case and bringing awareness to it is my way of doing that as well. So when we come back, again, almost 30 years after 2Pac Shakur died, a jury is finally hearing a murder case, but there's something bothering me because prosecutors are explaining what they believed happened the night 2Pac was shot. I want to talk about something bigger. Who was 2Pac becoming before he was assassinated? And why is that part of the story so important? I'm going to separate fact from my opinion, but we most definitely are going there. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
I don't know what's after it or what's, I keep my gun in my drawers, ducking the sad news. My phone say 7 missed calls, I know it's bad news. This life had left me so scarred, I'm knowing that's true. Remember time got so hard, I got it tattooed.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. If you are just now joining us, I was talking about legacy life. Shout out to the chat. What's up, Jazz? Wes, Kawanda, I love you dearly. I love your family. Thank you for tapping in. I know it's rough, but thank you for tapping in today. And always sending my love and thoughts and prayers with you all, as well as my mentor, my brother, Joseph Smalls Jackson, who passed away this weekend. Sending condolences to him and his family as well. So opening statements started today for the 2Pac Shakur trial, murder trial. Dwayne Keefe Davis is on trial for the 1996 murder of 2Pac Shakur. Davis has pleaded not guilty, and here's what prosecutors are arguing. They're arguing that 2Pac and others attacked Orlando Anderson, which is Davis' nephew, inside the MGM Grand following the Mike Tyson's fight. Prosecutors are allegedly stating that what happened afterwards was revenge. They say Davis helped orchestrate the shooting. The defense is challenging that story and attacking the credibility and reliability of Davis' previous statements, because he's been on camera numerous times, especially with Vlad TV, running his mouth, right? But that's it. That's the case. That's all that's being litigated. Now I want to talk about 2Pac the person and fact versus opinion. And I need everybody to listen to understand something. So I'm not going to be subjective when I speak about this. I'm going to be objective. So please follow me, right? Yes, I am a board member of the 2Pac Amaru Shakur Foundation. So I take the responsibility of discussing his legacy seriously. I'm not sitting behind the microphone telling you that I know who did it. I wasn't there. I'm not telling you that the government did it. I don't have any evidence proving that. But what I am going to give you is my perspective, because there's something I've always struggled with. I've struggled with the fact, and this isn't just with 2Pac, but specifically for him, his story repeatedly gets reduced to being a rapper, gang affiliations, the fight at the casino, retaliation, murder, all of that. But hold on a minute. Because who really was 2Pac, right? And why does this matter, and what does this have to do with his case? And again, it's not speaking subjectively, it's speaking objectively. We had a similar conversation last week when we talked about anyone who takes the stand to, not in court, but who take a stance to defend our people, to help our people, to fight for our people, right? Pac's mother was Afeni Shakur. His stepfather was Dr. Matula Shakur. Afeni was part of the Black Panther Party. His father was a part of the Black Liberation Army. His upbringing was surrounded by political consciousness, Black liberation, government, poverty, police brutality, racism, and power. America's history of federal surveillance and disruption of Black political organizations, including the Black Panthers, is documented history. That does not prove that the government is involved in 2Pac's murder, but it absolutely gives a historical context for understanding the world that he came from. So my question is this. What if the most important thing about 2Pac wasn't what he was becoming, or that he was becoming more dangerous, but what if it was that he was becoming more influential? He had millions of young people listening. And he wasn't just talking about money. He was talking about poverty, police brutality, Black mothers, addiction, mass incarceration, racism, government, community survival. His greatest power wasn't making young Black people angry. It was making young Black people think. And we all know that in this country, let's rewind the tapes. If it wasn't important for Black people to think, they would have never taught us how not to read. They would have never removed the books from us or punished our ancestors for attempting to learn how to read. Access to knowledge is valuable in the hands of Black and brown people. It's valuable because once we know better, we always do better. And that's why I refuse to let one fight inside the MGM Grand become the summary of that man's existence. Did the fight happen? Absolutely. Could actions have consequences? Absolutely. But he lived for 25 years. And out of everything he done in 25 years, why does that 5-minute interaction dictate his history or his legacy, right? And when you think about it, when you think about similar situations, whether it's on a national level or a local level, how many Black men have had their entire lives reduced to the worst 5 minutes that they've ever lived? How many? Now I want to introduce you to another young Black man, and that's Nolan Wells, right? Except he wasn't 25, he was 18. His family has been asking for answers since July. Let me repeat that. His family has been asking for answers since July. He's 18. Take the idolization of Tupac out of your mind and treat him as a human. He was 25, and his family has been asking for justice for 30 years. That is a problem. That is a problem because every time we end up in these situations, we are constantly in a situation to ask, right? We're constantly asking for what should be given. Information, valuable information. These are human beings. These were human beings. These are human lives. And when we're dealing with the judicial system, especially when it comes to Black men and women, we always have to ask for something that we shouldn't have to ask for. As a parent, I couldn't imagine, right? And it's not to say that, well, we know the justice that we're looking for, the answers aren't necessarily justice because we can't get these people back. But it does not mean that the judge has the right, prosecutors, anybody. It doesn't give anybody the right to not play their part, right? Especially when you know when there's multiple people involved and somebody knows something. And I get it. I get it. Nobody wants to be the quote unquote snitch, right? I was watching the jury trial today, the opening statements, and they were talking about how when Pac was taking his last breath, they asked him who did it, and he wouldn't even say, right? Nobody wants to admit to certain things because that is the culture that we grew up in, not just Black people, all people, hence the Nolan Wells case, right? The only difference is they have the money to cover it up in a way that a lot of Black and brown families, in a way that other people don't have, even Black and brown families. When we get into situations and we are guilty, we don't have the money to cover it up. We have to deal with whatever the consequences is. And so should whoever was involved. So should whoever was involved. Both of these situations are interesting to me, not in a sense of being a spectator, but more so the judicial system overall. And it prompted me to start researching how these things are ran, similar cases in the state of Nevada and the state of Mississippi, as well as laws, as well as elected officials, as well as who's, donating to who campaign when they're running for these seats. You understand what I'm saying? When we have people who sit in these positions, they didn't get there for free. They didn't get there just because they're popular or known. They got there because of campaign funding. Who's funding the campaigns to put these judges in the seats that they're in, to put these district attorneys in the seats that they're in, the people who are in the coroner's office, right? There are people who are funding these people to take these seats so that they can have control. It's almost like being a silent partner. That is the harsh reality. And when we look at the situation with State Fair yesterday, and we see majority of young black men fighting each other so bad. Like, I like toxic things when it comes to watching TV. Like, sometimes I may dip off into reality TV, but one thing that I despise looking at is men or young men fighting unless it's boxing. And the video I seen at State Fair yesterday broke my heart so much because they were fighting like they were aiming to kill with their fist. And they were jumping people, right? Like you can squabble, you can do a head up, that's cool. But the amount of young men on one, like it was 7, 8, 9, 10 versus one, that's extreme. That's extreme. And no one knows the context to why it happened. No one knows what these youth grades are in school. No one knows their upbringing. All we know is a 30-second video. And that 30-second video is all they need to dictate what type of person they are. That actually not even 5 minutes. The 2-minute video in the MGM Grand, that's all they needed to dictate what happened to Tupac. And now we're dealing with the same thing with Nolan Wells. His family has been asking for answers since July, and today there is another major development. The NAACP has entered the fight, and I'll tell you exactly what has changed when we return. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Do not touch that dial, 101.7 The Truth.
For 18 years, Veolia has done more than treat Milwaukee's water. Our people have raised their families here, built careers here, and been a part of the community. Generations of workers, millions of dollars a year invested in local businesses, a workforce center built to give young Milwaukeeans a real path into good local careers. 18 years later, Veolia is still here because Milwaukee's still home. Veolia, Milwaukee values, committed to its future.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jackamick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Something for my godson Elijah and a little girl named Corinne.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. You are officially tapped in. For those who are joining us, we are talking about the 2Pac Shakur murder trial as well as Nolan Wells this first hour. Coming up at the 5 o'clock hour, we have an interview with Milwaukee artist Emmett James. He will be performing for his big barbecue fest and at the Truth Family Fest as well. And then we're going to dive back into these cases. So Nolan Wells, 18 years old, college football player, went to Horn Island off the Mississippi coast over the 4th of July weekend, and he didn't come home. His body was discovered July 6th, and ever since then, his family has been asking what happened to our son. As of today, the NAACP has officially announced that it is joining the legal team representing Nolan Wells' family. And Ben Crump is already representing the family now. The NAACP's Office of General Counsel is joining to make an effort in this case as well. There's also a movement involving Nolan's phone. The family's attorneys says that they are ready to participate in a joint forensic inspection of the phone. Why does this matter? Because digital evidence can potentially help establish timelines, communications, and other information relevant to investigators. But I'm going to be careful here because we do not know what the examination will reveal. So don't let Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media handles turn possibility into evidence. I'm not accusing anybody of doing nothing to him, but at the same time, I am, because the math is just not mathing, right? And when a grieving mother says something about this doesn't make sense, do we owe her conspiracy theories or do we owe her a thorough investigation? Because there is a difference, right? So I'm all for, I seen the sister who was like, she's an engineer, and she took the audio and dissected it, right? So much to the point where she was able to hear some things in the background that prior to it sounded distorted. And obviously, there were, from a judicial stance, there was complaints about it. They were saying that it wasn't real and all, pretty much discrediting what she did. And she did it not because they paid her, not because they asked her to, but because, like me, she may be a mother. She was following the story. She had a certain skill set, and she applied that skill set because she understood in that moment that that family, that mother, was owed a thorough investigation. And if you have been following this case like me, you know that these people are playing in their face. It's clear as day. It's not rocket science to see what happened. Now, the specifics of how, absolutely, but who all was involved, come on now. So, yes, you're going to have, quote unquote, conspiracy theories and so on and so on. I don't consider it as conspiracy theories because 9 times out of 10, it's true. Just like with the vaccination, they kept saying, calling us conspiracy theories, and now look. But we don't owe her our opinions on what we think happened to a certain degree. What we do owe the family, if we choose to help as a community, is to assist with getting her and the rest of his family a thorough investigation, right? A thorough investigation. So that means we have to, when we participate in the fight, we have to be very strategic, and we cannot be reactionary. We cannot react off of emotion all the time, because that's how we're going to lose. My advice would be to do exactly what that sister, the one who is an engineer and was able to dissect that phone call. You need to find people in our community who have certain skill sets that can assist, right? Find a black coroner. Find a black sheriff if you need to. Find a black DA. Find these people in the same positions of the people that were of the ops. Because at this point, they're really the ops because they're not helping. We have to find our people who sit in these positions or similar positions, and we have to start asking them questions. and getting their advice and their expertise to make sure that we're getting facts and not just opinions or misguided assistance. Because a lot of times that's what it is. A lot of times we want to help and we figure reposting on social media or being reactionary and emotional is helping. Yes, it's helping as far as bringing awareness. But what's the point if we don't seek the finish line? We have to become more strategic when we choose to participate in national cases. It can't always just be your opinion from the sideline, right? If you're going to do something that's going to count. Because the fight that we're up against, and when I say we, is because you already know, especially when it comes to me, community is community. It doesn't matter if he wasn't your son or my son. He's all of our sons, like DNA wise. Nolan Wells is still all of our responsibility. Just like the babies at State Fair, just like the elders who were, of age when Tupac was alive, because let's not forget that he was only 25 when he passed away. So when we're talking about young adults and we're talking about children, they are all of our responsibility. We cannot continue to point the finger at, is this person fault or that person fault? We all have to collectively figure out, A, how to stop these things from happening, and B, if they do happen, how can we mobilize ourselves in a way that's going to count? We've seen this story multiple times where the same elected officials, the same preachers, the same attorneys, they hop on these cases. These are the same people from the civil rights movement with the same understanding. No slight, but facts is facts. And again, I see so many people doing commentary. So many people, are capitalizing off of the Nola Wells story on social media. That's why you guys don't hear me talk about it a lot. There are people who are literally sitting back, collecting facts and digging up information for views. And let's be clear. Depending on the certain amount of views they get paid for that. But all they're doing is reiterating what Nancy Grace has said or Ben Crump has said. They're not doing anything but enticing people. And then what happens? Because people are reactionary and capitalizing off of this on their platforms, you now have people who are getting arrested for threatening the coroner or the DA's office or the state legislator. Because they're upset that they're not doing anything. That's called being reactionary. That's not being strategic. That's not helping the family. Meanwhile, the mom is a nurse and she had all of these cuckoo people making false reports about her. Just on the simple fact that the nation is defending her and defending Nolan. And you have racist white people who are leaving negative comments about their experience. Well, the jig is up because the comments that they're leaving, the dates ain't adding up because she has been on leave. So even though they investigated her, they didn't take her license or remove her because it's not factual. Right? But these are the people who are making the comments are the people who are tied to certain individuals, are the people who are entitled and privileged and have a certain amount of money. So again, my call to action is be strategic. Yes, we can feel that pain. Yes, as a mother, you understand whether your child is deceased or not. But we have to be more strategic and get out of our feelings. We can be angry. We can be upset. But just sitting online, voicing your opinion about a case or trying to capitalize off of it or calling somebody and threatening them because you don't like the fact that they're not assisting Nolan's family the way that they should be, that's only going to make the situation worse. So Black people, if you want to help, we got to do a better job. Let's find the very people that sit in the same positions as the people who are doing what they're doing to try and stop this case the truth from coming out. Let's find people that sit in those positions who can give us facts and give us advice about how this case should be conducted. Let's hear from them. Let's stop allowing other people to dictate the outcome or the narrative. And it's going to be a long journey. We all know, again, with situations like this, 9 times out of 10, depending on, who's all involved, the case can go this way or that way. It's very difficult. I've worked with a lot of families, and the most traumatizing thing of it all is reaching a verdict or receiving a verdict that you don't want to hear. So it's hard to keep your hopes up high. All we can do is continue to pray for that family as well. But again, if you are someone who is really into this case, man, we got to do better. We got to go to break. When we come back, we're coming back home to Wisconsin, man. And I'm probably going to make some parents mad because everybody watched those young people fighting at the state fair and immediately asked, what's wrong with these kids? My question is a little bit different, and it's not in the sense that you may think, but it's who raised them. And we're going to talk about it next. 101.7 The Truth.
Educators Credit Union is more than a place to manage your money. They're where your financial possibilities take shape. They're more than transactions. They're conversations about your financial goals. More than numbers, they're community advocates who support free, local events that are accessible to all. They foster community because we are stronger together. Educators Credit Union is people helping people. Become a member at ECU.com. Insured by NCUA. Membership eligibility required.
At UW Credit Union, we have best-in-class technology and peopleology. Like if you lose your card, you can stop by in-branch for a same-day replacement, or you can have a new one instantly issued to the app. So whether you prefer interacting with our snappy online interface or our in-person regular faces, UW Credit Union is always here for every you. And whichever you choose, it's the best of both worlds. Join today at uwcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Everybody ain't your partner.
Why the f*** these niggas wanna go against the grain? Yeah. Why the f*** these niggas wanna drag it in the name?
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. If you are just now joining us at the top of the hour, I was explaining today's show is a little bit different. We are talking about Nolan Wells, the Tupac murder trial. We'll also have a sit-down interview with Emmett James as well. But I lost two people that I love dearly back-to-back this weekend. And I'm doing the best that I can, full transparency. But there's a lot that I want to discuss. And even though we're talking about national cases, we're gonna tie it all together. So again, I have to send my condolences to Joseph Smalls Jackson's family, as well as Kawanda. I love y'all dearly, and I'll always be here no matter what. So listen. Yesterday was the final day of the Wisconsin State Fair, and videos circulated showing fights and chaos involving groups of young people, right? And obviously, the phones come out. Everybody is recording, everybody is posting, everybody is sharing. And I've determined that we've become better at documenting destruction than preventing it. Now, I'm going to play advocate here because I understand. I understand both sides. I understand documentation can assist, but 9 times out of 10, the person who is filming it is doing it for, I hate to say it, but entertainment purposes, right? And also, it's different nowadays. It's hard to try and help prevent a situation because your life may be the cost, especially if it has nothing to do with you. So a lot of people, especially people where we are, no longer feel the need to step in, especially when it comes to the youth, because we are afraid that something might happen to us. And because there is no rapport between the generations, right? I remember when I was younger, I used to be afraid to curse in front of adults. I couldn't go around. I didn't care if I knew them or not. You didn't curse in front of adults. You didn't walk around smelling like weed. You'll be nervous. And if they come up and they catch you, you get yourself together. And nowadays, that's not the case. A lot of the youth has no compassion. They have no rapport with their elders, right? So there's no respect. So it makes it difficult for anybody to want to intervene, right? Hell, the police got beat up too. So if they find on 12 on a popo, what you think they're gonna do to you? Especially when when you're outnumbered. So a lot of people, I think 50% of the people chooses to record it for documentation purposes. 25% is because they actually want to help. Hey, if y'all know anybody, or the other 25% entertainment purposes, right? And then the other half of the people is just like whatever. They don't have no feeling about it. They're just doing it just to do it, right? So again, we've become better at documenting destruction than preventing it. And that's uncomfortable. But please, somebody tell me, stop me when I'm lying. Something happens and before somebody says stop, somebody says get out your phone. Let me record this. But here's where I'm challenging the adults. Again, this is coming from a mother of 3. I have a 19-year-old son who actually was at State Fair yesterday. And when I seen the video, my heart sank because, yes, he's a young adult. Yes, he's free to do what he wants. But just the fact of my children being in that type of environment when it was happening was traumatizing to me because you can only see so much on social media. You don't know what happened before. You don't know what happened after. And they're not documenting everybody. They're not recording everybody who was involved, right? But everybody keeps saying that these kids are different, and you are correct. But who raised this generation? That'd be the first question. Well, the parents. No, we all did. We all are responsible. You can curse me out on chat. You can call me 833-212-1017. You can hit me up on social media. You can do all of it and disagree, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, we all are responsible. Adults argue on Facebook. Adults threaten people online. Adults fight. Adults humiliate each other in public. Adults chase viral moments, and adults turn conflict into entertainment. Then what happens is the teenagers copy the culture and the adults say, these kids don't got no respect. The children don't just listen to what we teach and what we do. They study us. And it starts at home. Not just with what they see their parents or guardians doing, but what they see online. So when we're talking about Smalls, Pac, Nolan, the young people at State Fair, I want y'all to understand something. Smalls reminds me to appreciate the people who helped write my story. 2Pac reminds me that one moment should never erase an entire legacy. Nolan reminds me what happens when somebody can no longer tell their own story. And these teenagers remind me that their stories are still being written. Which means that, again, we should not be out here calling them thugs and saying that they're lost before you decide that they're never going to become anything. How would you feel, or where would you be had someone judge you off the dumbest thing you did as a teenager? And I'm telling you, and again, I'm not taking up for all of them because they know right from wrong. But when you have conversations with community members like 414 Life, or when you have conversations with parents of students that you teach, again, I'm not condoning the violence, but there's always more to the story. There was a young man recently, a teenager, who was murdered, and everybody was going crazy, and it's always sad. But then you hear from a 414 Life member who was on the scene and says, yeah, the whole neighborhood said all he did was terrorize people. Not saying that that should have happened to him. But again, there's always other sides to the stories. And then we say, all these kids know how to do is kill each other. They don't know how to fight. Well, they fighting. Now they just fighting in the wrong place. And they're going about it the wrong way. But what is the solution? Obviously, we don't want them harming each other with guns and with violence. And then we say back in the day, we used to get down, we just square up. Okay, well, now they fighting. They're just doing it. It's on site. How many of y'all, come on, man. How many of y'all walk around talking about it's on site? Or back in the day, if somebody, man, listen, as soon as I see you, that's what these babies are doing. Yeah. They're in online beefs or beefs that happened last year at school, or beefs from phone calls, whether it's the homeboys or the homegirls or a girl that was dating. And it's on site. That on site means it has no limitations. On site, there is no boundaries. They don't care if you at State Fair or at the hospital or at the public library. On site is on site. Same way on site was back in the day when you was a teenager is the same way it is today. So if we really want to start to see change, we got to check ourselves. And I don't want to hear that, well, I'm grown. So what? Just because you're grown does not make it right. It's some old fools out here too. It's some old fools out here. So when we're talking about viral moments, we're talking about cases, we're talking about these youth. It brings me back to the fact that these babies are still writing their stories, and that these viral moments and these clips that's being circulated is determining what type of person they are. Half of the students or half of the youth that I know who be out here doing what they're doing are not bad children. They get good grades, they go to school. Half of them didn't even grow up in the type of environment that will make them become like this. So when I see these videos and I hear people say, make comments, it has nothing to do with a lot of it has nothing to do with their education. A lot of it has nothing to do with the way they was brought up. Now, don't get me wrong. There are still some parents who are just as much of a fool as their child, which is why their child acts the way that they do. Then there's some parents where all they can do is work to keep their head above water. And it's hard to parent their child. And now their child is raising themselves and there's no community to assist. That don't mean that that parent necessarily is wrong. It means that that parent needs help. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Doesn't matter if they increase the age limit. Doesn't matter if they say no youth allowed. They're still going to find a way to make you know that it's a takeover. Hey, y'all don't pay attention to me at school because it's all about politics and the money. Y'all don't pay attention to me when I walk down the street because you're afraid of me. Y'all don't pay attention to us. Only way y'all pay attention to us is when we're involved in things that we have no business being involved in. We're going to talk about it more at the 6 o'clock hour. We've spent an hour talking about stories, and at 5, we're talking to someone who decided he was going to wait for somebody else to. He wasn't going to wait for somebody else to write his story. We're talking about artist Emmett James. He created his own event, Big Band Barbecue, live musicians, culture, community ownership, and he's also hitting our stage this Saturday at Truth Family Fest. We're talking about what happens when you stop waiting to get booked and build the stage yourself. That's next, 101.7 The Truth.
Craving something fresh, fun, and absolutely delicious? Then head to Goody Gourmets, celebrating 20 legendary years of gourmet popcorn that's bursting with flavor. From sweet to savory and everything in between, every batch is handcrafted with premium ingredients made to bring joy to every bite. Stop by 6369 North Green Bay Avenue and discover why Milwaukee can't get enough of Goody Gourmets. Open Monday through Saturday. Treat yourself today at goodygourmets.com. Goody Gourmets. Fresh, delicious, legendary.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Milwaukee, your weekdays have a new rhythm. Start your mornings with conversations that matter.
Again, I'm the legendary Homer Blow, along with my girl,
Bailey Coleman. Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman. Weekdays, 7 to 9 a.m. Then keep it locked with the voice of the community.
And the more you know and the more skills you have, the more training you have, the better off your community is.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, 9 a.m. to noon. Lunch is on us. Turning up your midday vibe.
It's your boy Ray Nitty and my co-host Maybe Shannon. You can find us on Facebook at The Lunch Break. Make sure y'all follow us, y'all.
It's The Lunch Break with Ray Nitty and Maybe Shannon, noon to 2 p.m. Then we're closing out your day with energy. Lots of it.
It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Milwaukee, Truth Nation. We are talking black leadership in the city of Milwaukee.
Tap in with Jazz Tyler every afternoon, 4 to 7 p.m. Your home for Milwaukee conversations. The award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way, improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Interested in volunteering? Visit truthfamilyfest.com or by emailing Sierra, CIERRA.brown@MilwaukeeBlackMedia.com. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, Department of Community Wellness and Safety, AB Core, Tap In MKE, and Ascension.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM.
W269 DL Milwaukee and WGKB Waukesha.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Join us for Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. It's free and fun for the entire family, featuring great music, community resources, family activities, and back-to-school support to help students get ready for a successful school year. Interested in volunteering? Visit the Truth Family Fest website at truthfamilyfest.com to complete the volunteer form, or by emailing Sierra at CIERRA.brown@MilwaukeeBlackMedia.com. Bring the whole family and experience one of Milwaukee's favorite community celebrations. Truth Family Fest, Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, DCWS, AB Core, and Incision. And tap in MKE. Ascension. Ascension. We gonna get it together. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Thank you so much for tapping in with us. If you are just now joining us, the first hour, I was giving an update on Nolan Wells' case, as well as the Tupac Amaru Shakur murder trial, and also talking about what happened at State Fair yesterday. And I was stating that a lot of people ask the wrong question. You know, they begin who raised the children? Who raised these kids? We did. We did, literally. Not just the parents, but society, social media. All of us are responsible, because the youth, they mimic what we do. And you can't tell me that I'm wrong, because how else would they know what to do? There's no way they would know what to do or how to do it had they not watched someone else do it, right? It has to come from somewhere. And I get it. It's a lot of people who say, I don't got nothing to do with that, or my children wasn't raised like that, so on and so on. But that's the very mentality, the very reason why they are the way that they are. Because we have this mentality of it's not our responsibility, when indeed it is. It was the elders' responsibility when we were younger, right? Y'all know when y'all was growing up, the community was involved, the village. Now the parents don't want you checking their children, the children checking the parents and adults. There's just flat out no respect whatsoever. And I cannot blame it on lack of education, because if you sit down with a lot of these youth, they are smarter than you think. And majority of them don't have bad grades, right? So it's not that they are incompetent. It's because they just are fearless. They are angry. There's something inside of them that is going on, and they don't have any other way to express it. They begin to develop hate for their people. You know, we all done been in fights when we were younger, whether we wanted to be or not. And when we fought, it was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to fight you. We're going to get it over. And even if I don't like you or don't talk to you, I don't want to harm you. I don't want to fight you or hit you so hard to the point where I knock you out or knock you unconscious or put you in a position to where it could cost you your life. That's what I seen on them videos yesterday. What I seen on them videos yesterday made me sick to my stomach. And the people out there who are watching, I know some of them is y'all babies. Some of them is y'all babies. And instead of down talking the parents, help them. Help them. What can we do, right? They need help. The children need help. We all need help, because pretty soon there's going to be nothing for us to do. No, I don't care if they decide to make it 21 and older. If they make all these events 21 and older, these youth will still find a way to do whatever it is that they want to do. And speaking of not having anything to do, to the youth, there's a lot of safe summer sites, a lot of free events that your child, student, niece, nephew, whoever can attend. Me and Vaughn have lock-ins every Thursday and Friday at 5 Stars, the old Y off of Titonia. We have children in there from 12 to 17, giving out money, playing basketball, painting and sipping, and we do it with 414 Life, the Office of Community and Wellness. There's they've had seminars and boot camps to teach the youth how to do radio, DJing, cooking classes with Zebra. There's all types of things that's happening. So I don't know if we can use an excuse anymore that there's not something for them to do, because it is. We have to begin to assist with guiding them towards these places so that they can get the mentorship, they can have certain conversations and have fun all at the same time. Again, I'd rather they fight versus shooting each other, but not in the manner that they did, right? Not in the way that they did. And I will be a lie to say that this isn't how it used to be, because if you know, you know. If you grew up back then, it was still stuff like this going down. There just wasn't social media, and we were a little bit more respectful. But at the end of the day, they need assistance. They need help. The parents need help. We all need help. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't go. I haven't been to State Fair in years because I just don't feel like dealing with that. It's a lot, especially if you have children or you're bringing, elders or whatever the case may be. And then we also have to figure out a way how to properly prepare for situations like this. And I think a big part of that is because it is in the city of West Allis, and it's not in the actual city of Milwaukee. The elected officials and community advocates who conduct certain events or things to cater to the youth don't have a say-so in how State Fair should be handling these situations or how they can properly prepare. I know last year, the CVI team, Ron and them, was down there, right? And they were de-escalating a lot of the situations. I don't know if that was the case this year or not. I don't think it was. But going forward, whenever we do have these type of events or large gatherings and we know that the youth are going to attend, instead of just packing it out with the police department, we need these youth organizations and community advocates who work with these babies directly to be there to de-escalate these situations. They may be the only people that they'll listen to. They may be the only people who can calm them down and get them to not act a fool. It's the 5 P's, right? The 5 P's. That's what we have to do. I don't know what this is going to look like going forward as far as State Fair, as far as Summerfest, as far as any festivals. But with school coming back in the fall and winter time, we have 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring, to figure out what to do before it gets hot outside again next year. And it cannot be the same solutions that we've had. It cannot be just for the summertime. This has to be a solution that is permanent. There has to be programming that lasts throughout all 4 seasons, throughout the entire year. And we have to make sure that we are putting the dollars where they need to go to assist these babies. Because if we don't, we're going to have a city where everybody is no longer going to want to be here. The people who want to be successful, because it becomes a headache. It's starting to become a headache. It's going to start forcing people to leave. They're already leaving. They've been leaving. It's going to start forcing people to say, you know what? This is not a city where I can raise my child, and I no longer want any parts of this. And I hate to say it, and I hope it don't come to that point. But looking at all of these different situations, happen, that's exactly what's going to start happening. We got to go to break. When we come up, we got Emmett James in the building. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkuprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Okay, I'm straight from the north side. Thought I won't respond well. You got the wrong guy. I came to ball and you just courtside. Jen wanna play.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We got a special guest in the building, Emmett James. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just spent an entire hour asking who gets to write your story. And you are actually a perfect guest for this conversation. Every artist spend years waiting for somebody to book them, for somebody to promote them, for somebody just to notice them in general. And you've decided to create the Big Band Barbecue. So let's start here. When did you decide I'm done waiting for somebody to build the opportunity? I'm going to build it myself.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I kind of always been that way. I spent, I'll make this quick. I spent 8 years in LA. So the first time I went to LA, I did the whole pay to play, sell tickets to get slot times. And it only took me 2 times to do that, to realize that that's not what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Met a homie in LA. He had a big backyard. I started doing backyard shows. We was losing money at first, and then we figured out a way how to make like even just a little bit of profit.
Yeah.
So now you fast forward to the Big Band Barbecue. It was December 2022. I was talking to my homie who's the music director. And I was like, yo, when I moved to Milwaukee, when I move back, I want to do like a big band show. I always do 4 or 5 pieces. Like I want to do like more than 10. He's like, when you're ready to do that, let me know. So he writes and arranges all the parts for the musicians. And so that was December 2022.
Yeah.
First big band was August 2023.
Come on.
So like eight months later, we were able to actualize it. So that's kind of like the genesis of the idea.
So why barbecue? Why the live band? What type of experience are you trying to create by merging those two things together?
Yeah, I think when people think barbecue, you think like family function, outing, unk on the grill with the toes out. We won't have that part.
With the sandals.
Yeah, we won't have that part. We've never had that part actually, but that would have been dope to do it when it was outside. But I just think music and food, drinks, they go good together.
Yeah.
And so I hit my girl Ashley. She works at Daddy Soul Food and Grill.
Come on.
And we've had this this partnership for 4 years now.
Yeah.
Where usually I get food catered from them, but now they're going to do the food truck this year.
Yeah.
So it's to be a little bit different. And so it just go together, in my opinion.
What do you think is missing from today's music that you think the live bands brings back?
I think for the performer and for the audience member, just live music is just a little bit more special.
Yeah.
From the performer's POV, I'm not like married to the studio version.
Yeah.
If I want to slow a song down, I can slow it down. If I want to extend a song lower, hey, I want the trumpet and the bass is going off right now. Y'all keep doing your thing for 60 more seconds.
Yep.
If I'm performing with a track, I'm married to the hook is right here, the verse is right here. And I think it's just something dope about and special and magical about live music. And so every time I get a chance, I try to do that. When I can't, I do what I call a hybrid set. So you might see me play and I might do tracks and trumpet, tracks and violin. That way you still have that. I'm still married to the track, but you still have that live instrumentation element to it.
Yes. And there's no, honestly, like, I love music and I love creating music. And even when producing, if I'm making a beat, I can go on FL and make a beat. I can go on Logic and make a beat, right? But when you're playing the instruments versus just tapping it, you know what I'm saying? It's a different experience. And it's the same where you're going to a concert. It's like, yeah, you can rap over the track, but when you hear the instruments playing live, when you hear the drums and that guitar or the bass, like it does something to your soul.
Yeah. One of my favorite things too is to see my producer homies. Let's say I do a song that they produced.
Yeah.
And them to see it. Like I remember when I was in the studio making it, and now like they get to see horns and singers and string players. So it's even for them from that POV, it's a dope opportunity to see like the music come alive.
So there's a difference between being an artist and an event producer. What did creating this teach you about business?
On the nonprofit end, it taught me a lot. It's funny because when I was in college learning about fundraising, I was like, I'm never going to use this.
Yeah.
And now every summer for the last 4 years is all I do. And because people don't give money, like in order to produce this event for this year, it costs $20,000. But as an organization, they can't write checks to me.
Right.
They got to write checks to a nonprofit. It's tax deductible, yada, yada. And so like, I've just been learning a lot about from that angle, why nonprofits move the way they do, why maybe I might want to start one or maybe why I don't want to start one.
Exactly.
So from that angle and just fundraising is like a fancy word for saying begging.
Yep.
But getting people to believe in the magic is a fancier way of saying it. But I learned a lot from that angle.
I used to do events and I used to do large scale events. And not only is it stressful when it comes to obtaining the funds, but finding the right people to help you carry it out.
Yeah.
I think the scariest part of it all is whether or not it's going to be successful. What was the scariest part about betting on yourself when it came to creating this event?
I think I've never produced an event. I've gone on, paid for an event, maybe a couple of grand.
Yeah.
But when you start talking 15, 20.
Yeah, it's money on the line.
It's just last year was the first year I owed money and had to go in my pocket.
Yeah.
It was like a couple grand, so it wasn't a lot. But that part is the scariest. I remember the second year, my homegirl who helped me produce this, shout out to Joy Boy, we got a $1,500 sponsorship the day of.
Yeah.
We needed like $3 more grand, and then we got half of it the day of.
Yeah.
And so I think that is the scary part. Looking, the musicians in the face and being like, yo, I said
if
I
I
was
can
going
pay
to do
it.
this.
Yeah.
I got to do this now to make this work. And
Yep.
they always rock with me and cool with me, but that I don't like having that conversation. But I'm always straight up and upfront about money.
Yeah.
People get real funny about money sometimes, and I try not to be that way.
Yeah. And it's difficult because you want to. I was just having this conversation this weekend. Like, I am so burnt out with doing things for love, because when you ride with people and their vision and they get to where they going, it become like some people, not all, but some people is like they don't, reach back or appreciate the work that you put in. So to your point, it's like it's a horrible feeling to be able to say, hey, I know we agreed to this, but this was the outcome, right? But it's even better when you have solid people on your team who's like, you know what, I'm in it with you. And most importantly, one thing I tell my students all the time is everybody want to be the boss, but the boss get paid last. Like when the money comes back and you see that return, there's so much overhead and so many people and things you have to pay for. So you're really selfless, right? Because you're trying to make sure that everybody that you're pulling into this event is successful. And then as far as like the artist component of it, a lot of artists complain constantly about not getting booked. What would you tell an artist who's waiting on promoters instead of creating their own platform?
I would tell them stop waiting and like book yourself. There's quite a few venues. I'll give you an example. There's a venue called VAR Gallery. It costs $50 to rent.
Mm-hmm.
Could hold 60 people. It's in Walker's Point.
Yes.
Hire a homie to do the sound. They got sound there, but if you on stage, you can't do the sound. Hire a homie $50, $100 to do the sound. Bring your DJ or bring the band. It's a low cost event.
Yeah.
And then just book yourself. And then I think the more you do stuff, people see what you're doing.
Yes.
And then and they'll reach out to you. If you do care about promoters booking you, then do both.
Yeah.
Reach out to them and book your own stuff.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, book your own show, reach out to a promoter, invite them to the show for free.
Yes.
So they can see the magic for themselves.
That's right. That's right. 5 years from today, what do you want Big Band Barbecue to become?
That's a funny question because I think this is going to be the last one.
Why? It's a lot of work.
Not just it's a lot of work. I'm be moving around next summer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in Brooklyn, moving to Brooklyn next summer. So, that's around the time I would have this event.
Yeah.
So I do got another event up my sleeve that I want to do before I go. But we live in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
This is the FO. This is the 4th annual. I thought this might be a good. So for the foreseeable future, this might be like the capstone. But maybe later down the line we'll see. I don't know. People keep telling me they're not letting me do that, but unless they say, "Hey, here's $20,000," we're not letting it happen. then what we talk
put your
about.
money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Would you ever do it in a different state?
I did something similar in LA, band wise. It was like 9 pieces.
Yeah.
But if I'm settled somewhere, I would think about it. Like next year, I'm gonna be traveling. I'm like to Atlanta, Chicago, Memphis. I'm gonna just be moving around so much, doing different artsy stuff. So I won't be settled in a space to pull off an event like this.
Yeah.
So like to pull this off, soon as it was over last year, me and Joy started planning.
Yeah.
I got to plan throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, I'm gonna be moving around too much to, but maybe potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially I would.
Well, speaking of artistry and performing, you are coming to kick it with us this Saturday for Truth Family Fest.
I am. I'm excited about that too.
With this being a community event, what is different about performing in front of families versus just a regular show?
I think the cool thing about events like this, especially because as artists, when you play events like this, it's family friendly.
Yeah.
It like keeps you sharp on that end, but it also from a hip hop angle, it shows people like a positive light about hip hop.
Yeah.
Because usually, especially for like an older demographic, and I know this is a youth event, but for older demographic, people are kind of like, they don't got the best opinions about hip hop.
Yep.
So when they could come to an event and it's clean, even if it's just clean for that day, but it's clean, you see you doing something, you're doing something positive with yourself and your community, it's always a dope opportunity to highlight hip hop in a positive way. So I think
absolutely
that's cool.
Why do community appearances matter to you?
do you mean by community event?
Like agreeing to do this community event?
Because I think that this is what this is, even with the big band, this is what this is all about.
Yeah.
Giving back, reaching back, doing your part.
Yeah.
And I've been back here for like going on 4 years next year, and I've been to at least 2 of these.
Yeah.
Waiting on the call.
Yeah.
Waiting on the call, baby. So I'm glad I was able to be a part of it.
Yes, indeed. So thank you so much for joining us today. Can you give people information about the Big Band Barbecue and how we can come and support?
Yeah, Turner Hall, Friday, August 21st. Doors at 7, music at 8. 20-piece band, drums, bass, keys, guitar, 3 saxophone, 2 trumpets, 2 trombones, 2 flutes, a 3-person choir, and some special guests popping out. Genesis Renji, Vaughn Alexander, Cam, Classic, Mandela Effects is going to be a vibe.
Is this a free event?
It is not free. Normally it is free, but we at Turner Hall, we got some more expenses, so it's $10.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad. So how can we purchase tickets?
You could go to emmittjames.com. That's EMMITT James.com. Or you could go to the 2Pac'ss Theater Group. Click on Turner Hall, Friday, August 21st. Tickets will be right there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Emmett, again, for stopping through. It's always a pleasure. I look forward to attending your event Friday and seeing you rock the stage on Saturday. Coming back, we are keeping family in the conversation because after everything we've discussed at the 4 o'clock hour, maybe the answer isn't just criticizing young people. Maybe the answer is creating more places where young people and families can experience community differently. That's exactly what we're doing this Saturday at Truth Family Fest. Coming up next is your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
You all appreciate it.
When I was young, me and my mama
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. You are officially tapped in. I want to say happy Monday, Milwaukee, but it's a rough Monday for me. For those who are just now tuning in, I lost two incredible people. One of them is one of the reasons why I'm here today in this share. Smalls, Joseph Jackson. He played a huge part in my career. If you haven't watched the Homer Blow interview, we talked about him. Homer is the person who actually introduced me to him. Proud Howard alumni. Man, the man wore so many hats and was just such a great person. And I'm going to truly miss him. And I send my love to Joker, to his sister Jasmine, his mother, to his entire family and everyone who knew him, as well as Bud, man. Kawanda was on the chat earlier. I got that call from her 3:00 in the morning, and another 24 hours less than 24 hours. So again, I want to send my condolences to Kawanda, the family, as well. And we're going to keep the legacy alive. Before we did the interview with Emmett, we were talking about the situation at Wisconsin State Fair and what is happening with the youth. And that had me thinking. I also mentioned that we can no longer use the excuse that there's not anything to do, because there are numerous of youth activities as well as events. And speaking of events, this Saturday we are having Truth Family Fest. So listen, Truth Family Fest is this weekend, Saturday, August 22nd. And I want to connect this directly to what we talked about earlier. Why does Black community always have to gather because somebody died? Think about that. A vigil, we there. Funeral, we there. A shooting, we there. A protest, we there. An emergency, we there. But when it comes to obtaining resources and, assisting, right? It's always a matter of, do I feel like going or not? So this weekend, we're having Truth Family Fest. We'll have resources, music, family, children, entertainment, community organizations, but most importantly, connection. And y'all, if you don't know Truth, right? Truth Nation, you get to meet us. We are having a meet and greet. We will be there live and direct. So you'll get a chance to come and chop it up with us in person, right? And see the face behind the microphone for those who do not watch YouTube. And if you don't, make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 101.7 The Truth. But I'm extremely excited about this event. For those who aren't familiar with my background, I do have a background in producing events. I was the director of community engagement for the Allen Iverson Classic for 5 years. Before I finished that, I assisted with his book tour last year as well. I've assisted with bringing the Wisconsin Festival here and getting that up and running with T-Pain. I've done MMA events with Anthony Pettis. I've done my own events. I've done events with the 2Pac'ss and Marvel Shakur Foundation. And I love community. I love resources. I love events. The vendors that we have coming to Truth Family Fest are some amazing organizations. And with everything that's happening, not just the violence and stuff like that, but also inflation, also, health, all of that. Like, I can't express to y'all, especially to those who always constantly reach out to me for resources. We will have at least 100 vendors there. There's so many people that is going to be there with direct resources, not resources where you got to play the game of, let me pass you to somebody and who can pass you along to somebody else. But these are resources and organizations that has a direct impact in our community. So I don't want to hear about what you need when I know for a fact that there are events that's happening every weekend. Right? This summer, there has been from Hill to Hood to 414 Life. They just had something this past Saturday. Truth Family Fest, the big barbecue. All of these things are taking place. And there's so many people in need of assistance, but yet they never show up. So if you got money and energy to show up to brunch or the club, please bring your children and get that energy to take them to Truth Family Fest this Saturday. It is a youth event. So again, we're talking about the youth. We're talking about the state of youth and what happened and all of that stuff. This is a positive event that you can bring them to, where you don't have to worry about, all of the chaos and confusion. We're just simply saying, hey, this is what we have to offer. These are the organizations and the resources that's coming. We'll have some live performances. Emma James is actually performing that weekend, and we will be there in person. The Truth Nation, we will be there airing live. You guys will be able to also do a meet and greet where we can have conversations in person. And I want to meet y'all, right? Y'all family. We sit behind the cameras and the mic all day, and we don't really have the opportunity to see who we're speaking to and engage. And I want to. When I personally utilize this platform, it's not just so y'all can hear me run my mouth for 3 hours. It's for me to impact and inspire. It's for me to say, hey, I know if I don't have it, I know where you can go and get the resources. And that's what I want to do. I want y'all to meet me there. I want y'all to meet me at Truth Family Fest this Saturday. Come up to me, introduce yourself. Hey, Jazz, I'm so-and-so. Let's chop it up. What resources do you have? Right? I know so many people who need information, so many people who need resources. And shout out to Jasmine West. Shout out to Madi. Shout out to a couple of people who are faithful Truth Nation listeners who called in and offered their services and resources as well, multiple times, right? Show up. Come on, y'all. Let's do what we got to do. Let's pull it all together. So again, this Saturday at Riverside University High School, we will Truth Nation will be in the building. 101.7 The Truth. We will be there, live and direct performances, food, vendors, resources. This is a family event, so you can bring the babies. You can bring the babies, especially if they haven't started school back yet. This is something that you all can do as a family before it's time for them to go back to school. That will, for some of y'all, because I already started today, honey. Let me tell you. I went back to teaching today, and boy, we got to do better. We got to do better, y'all. We got to do better. It was very chaotic. It was about 30 parents up at the school. They got to go to work. They frustrated because it's a lot going on. But I'm excited about the new school year. I'm excited to bring resources to the community around this time. And this is one way that we are doing it. Also, if you didn't catch the interview with Emmett James at 5:00, he has the big barbecue event taking place this Friday at Turner Hall. I believe he said tickets are $10, but there'll be Daddy Soul Food food truck out there. They're doing a live band, some performances with him and Von Alexander and Classic. If you guys don't know who that is, he is off the chain. Super, super fire. So there's a lot of different things you can, do this weekend to enjoy yourself. But the reason why I'm talking about the Family Fest, Truth Family Fest, is because of what we just seen at Summerfest, right? We have to find a way to invite our youth to positive events. And this is a positive youth-driven event that we want y'all to take advantage of, right? I don't know a lot of radio stations that host Family Fest events without, doing it in a sense where it's like, hey, we have to. Like, this is something I know for a fact everybody who's a part of 101.7 The Truth, as far as the host and the staff, like, this is what we do outside of work, right? This is where our heart is. And we're saying, hey, yeah, we want y'all to have a good time, but most importantly, we want y'all to come and enjoy the resources that we're, providing, the organizations that we're providing. We're inviting you to say, hey, because you listen to us and you are family, let me help you. This is how I can help you. I don't know what your situation is, but I can refer you to a vendor who can assist you with your situation. And then you can come back and let us know afterwards if it worked or if it didn't work. Hey, I was at True Family Fest this weekend. I needed this, and I, was able to make a connection with so-and-so, and now this happened. Or, hey, y'all should have had this. Whatever the case may be, we won't know unless y'all come. Come take advantage of it. It's free. There is no charge. Free of charge. Come get the information. Come get the resources. Come kick it with me. Even if y'all feel like y'all need help, come kick it with me. Come tap in. Let's chop it up. Let's have some conversation, right? Let's get some work done. And let's enjoy the end of the summer, because y'all know it took forever to get to this point, meaning that it took forever for me to accept the fact that summer is about to end. That school is back, that this summer went by so fast, I didn't even get a chance to really enjoy it. Although fall is my favorite season, I didn't get a chance to really enjoy the summertime because it went by too fast. Way too fast. We got to go to break. Coming back, I'm telling you again to make sure y'all pull up this Saturday to Truth Family Fest, August 22nd. But we're also talking about community solutions, right? Let's finish this hour together. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
Educators Credit Union is more than a place to manage your money. They're where your financial possibilities take shape. They're more than transactions. They're conversations about your financial goals. More than numbers, they're community advocates who support free, local events that are accessible to all. They foster community because we are stronger together. Educators Credit Union is people helping people. Become a member at ECU.com. Insured by NCUA. Membership eligibility required.
Milwaukee, can you still afford to keep your lights on? Bills are up, shut-off notices are up. People are choosing between the electric bill and groceries. And now, We Energies wants to build giant data centers and then send the bill to us. Low-income, moderate-income families and renters, seniors on fixed income. If you're against paying for someone else's power, if you want the power, you pay for the power. Tell the Public Service Commission. Comment now or come speak at Marquette the first week of September. Go to walnutway.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Somebody need to do a song for LA. Straight up, just for go out to LA. The new anthem, California Love Part 2. One time. To live and die in LA. West side, west side, west side. To live and die in LA, where everybody try to
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Milwaukee, before we went to break, I was talking about Truth Family Fest this Saturday. Again, we all know what happened at Summerfest. We've seen it. Don't want to reiterate it, multiple times. I'm sure you guys have heard about it and seen it. But I do want to highlight something positive, something that is, it is an event that you can bring your children to, you can bring your grandmama to, whoever. It's the Truth Family Fest that's happening this Saturday at Riverside University, hosted by us, by 101.7 The Truth. We will be there live and direct, which means that if you do not know us personally, this is a great time to come in, do a meet and greet. Come in, sit down and chop it up with us. If you have personal resources that we can connect people to outside of that event, we do want to work with you and hear from you. That's what it's about. That's what this platform is about. And that's what the community is about. So we'll have some vendors. We'll have special guests in the building. Emmett James will be performing that day as well. And some of the vendors that we'll have will be UWM Pre-College, Housing Resources. So for those who are not familiar with Housing Resources, I actually started that program in my 20s. I didn't finish it, but they have a home ownership program that you guys can sign up for. So if you are a first time or looking to be a first time homeowner, you're able to sit down with them, schedule an appointment so that you can go in, get all of your documentation together, whatever the case may be, so that they can get you on the journey of becoming a homeowner. Urban Ecology Center will be there. Big Brothers, Big Sisters mentorship program. Milwaukee Courier, shout out to Milwaukee Courier. 100 Black Men, shout out to 100 Black Men organization and the people that I know who sit on that board. Some awesome, amazing human beings who are doing some amazing work. Community Advocates, shout out to my cousin Dweller, who actually runs Community Advocates. They will be there as well. Rental House and Resource Center, which is ran by, the director is Erica Crowley, the wife and spouse of David Crowley as well. And you never know, Mr. Crowley might pop up too, you know. City of Milwaukee, DCWS, Educators Credit Union, and Tap In MKE. So if you have nothing to do, even if you do have something to do, pull up this weekend and make sure that you come with intentions on receiving information. That means, hey, we talked about it last week, right? Don't wait. If there's something you want to do in your life, don't wait. If anything, with Smalls passing away and Bud passing away, if it taught me anything this weekend, it reminded me never to wait, right? Because today ain't even promised. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, like I mentioned, I just went through some of the resources there. If you are someone who is looking to purchase a home and you don't know where to start, or you may have doubt, Housing Resources will be there. And I'm telling you from experience, right? In my early 20s, I started the program, but I didn't finish it. If I would have finished it, I would have owned a home in my 20s. But come with a motivational spirit of being intentional. I want to be a homeowner. Let me go to Truth Family Fest to sit down with Housing Resources to see how I can make that happen. It doesn't matter if your situation isn't perfect. It doesn't matter if your credit jacked up. It doesn't matter, right? There are literally resources and programs out here to help you, but it starts with you. So if you want to own a home and you're not sure how to start, or you're afraid to start, I'm asking you personally to pull up this Saturday. Even if you come up to me, hey, I heard you on the radio talking about home ownership. It took a lot for me to come down here, but I'm here. All right, cool. Let's get you to the right person. Let's get you to the right vendor so that you can start your journey, right? If you need mentorship, if you need assistance when it comes to rentals, right? Being someone who rents. I know that there is a lot of situations going on with people and their landlords in the city of Milwaukee, and a lot of people are not versed to the landlord-tenant rights. And it may sound boring, it may sound simple, but this is a harsh reality. There are people who are dealing with some slumlords on a completely different level, and there are landlords who are dealing with tenants who are horrible. And no one is clear on the landlord-tenant laws in the state of Wisconsin. which makes it more difficult for you to be a landlord or a tenant because you don't understand when something goes wrong, what your right is as a tenant or as a landlord, right? Or if you are facing eviction, if you have some type of housing crisis, if you need emergency assistance to help pay to move into a house, or if you have a landlord who is not willing to work with you, community advocates will be there. That is what they specialize in. How do I know? Because my cousin runs it. My cousin runs it. I know all about their programs, and it works. And they have multiple resources to assist, as well as the rental housing portion also, which is ran by Miss Erica Crowley, right? I just seen her. She came up here for an interview, and then I seen her at Bronzeville Fest, and now she's at Truth Family Fest as well, which is so freaking dope. Outside of elections, she's doing this on a regular basis. But to have someone who is an expert in that, that's amazing as well, because again, they have the valuable information that's needed for the community. So again, there's multiple people. Tap in MKE. So I know y'all see the Set My Show, Tap In with Jazz Tyler. I got numerous of calls the past week. Hey man, I keep seeing these flyers talking about Tap In MKE, man. Who is that? I know it ain't you because I ain't see your face on the flyer. We are in partnership with Tap In MKE. Tap In MKE is something that we're working with as far as Safe Summer Site initiatives, where they have multiple things happening this summer to keep the youth safe, out of the way, busy, all of the above, right? Me and Vaughn is a part of that as well. We have the locked in programs every Thursday and Friday. Actually, we have 3 more weeks left before we take a break and start up for the fall. But from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thursdays and Fridays, your students or your youth ages 12 to 17 can meet us at 5 Star. 5 Star is the old YMCA off of Titonia and Garfield, right there by the funeral home. It's free. All they have to do is just sign up. We have basketball, we got paint and sip, we got yoga, we have arts and crafts. They can win money. We have shoe giveaways, gift card giveaways. We have mentorship. We have free haircuts. There's so much going on in that building. Send us your babies. We want them. We've taken up to 100 youth at one time. There's other Safe Summer Sites as well. Shout out to Zebra. He has a cooking class with the youth where he can show them how to cook. Remember, these are things that we were taught in school, but they're not teaching this in school. So again, there was an event with Homer Blow as well, where they showed them how to DJ and talk to them about radio. So there's all types of things going on. You can go to tapinmke.com to take a look at a lot of those events. I got to give a shout out to Brother Duncan too, man. Brother Duncan, and he be pulling up with the bean pies, and I'm a huge fan of it because A, it's healthy, and I love sugar and snacks. Well, I used to. I'm trying to get better at my diet. But he does a lot with us, with the youth in the community as well, with a lot of the people who are with Tap In MKE. And if you see Brother Duncan out anywhere, go grab you a bean pie, for real. Go support that brother, support his movement. Make sure you are tapping in that way also. Listen, if y'all don't do anything else before we head into this 6 o'clock hour and we finish off this hour, my call to action specifically for this hour is for y'all to pull up on me. And I mean that right now, y'all. It's been a lot going on. I need some love. We need some love. I want to help y'all. I need y'all to help me. Let's get these resources. Let's work as one unit. Let's put our minds together, Truth Nation. Anybody that's listening, even if you don't have a business or own a business, it doesn't matter. The mode I'm in right now, especially losing 2 people, especially losing Smalls, is legacy and pushing forward and making sure that I can continue to be impactful. And I don't want to do that by myself. I didn't do this by myself, right? There's people who played a role in my success. Now it's time for us to do that with these babies. Again, yes, this is a family event, but the youth will be there. We keep talking about all these situations and fights we're seeing at State Fair, Summerfest, so on and so on. But at the end of the day, there are other events where we would like to invite the youth and invite families so that we all can come to one understanding on how to move as a unit throughout the city of Milwaukee, right? It's enough room for everybody to get to it. It's enough room for everybody to work together. Let's put our heads together this Saturday. Let's put our energy into making sure we can play our part to make this city safer and provide the resources to help them, the youth and their families, so that we can continue out the rest of 2026 the way that we should. And that's moving as one unit. That's what we should be doing at all times, right? So I gotta go to break. But at 6, we are going to recap, bring it back to the top. We're going a little bit deeper, no headlines, no surface conversation. I want to connect the 2Pac Nolan Wills and my homie Small and these young people around everything we've discussed today around one uncomfortable reality. Sometimes the world decides who you were after you can no longer defend yourself. Who gets to find a word? Let's talk about it. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth. Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Interested in volunteering? Visit truthfamilyfest.com or by emailing Sierra, CIERRA.brown@milwaukeeblackmedia.com. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, Department of Community Wellness and Safety, AB Core, Tap In MKE, and Ascension.
Milwaukee, your weekdays have a new rhythm. Start your mornings with conversations that matter.
Again, I'm the legendary Homer Blow, along with my girl,
Bailey Coleman. Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman. Weekdays, 7 to 9 a.m. Then keep it locked with the voice of the community.
And the more you know and the more skills you have, the more training you have, the better off your community is.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, 9 a.m. to noon. Lunch is on us. Turning up your midday vibe.
It's your boy Ray Nitty and my co-host Maybe Shannon. You can find us on Facebook at The Lunch Break. Make sure y'all follow us, y'all.
It's The Lunch Break with Ray Nitty and Maybe Shannon, noon to 2 p.m. Then we're closing out your day with energy. Lots of it.
It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Milwaukee, Truth Nation. We are talking black leadership in the city of Milwaukee.
Tap in with Jazz Tyler every afternoon, 4 to 7 p.m. Your home for Milwaukee Conversations. The award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way, improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269 DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
I ain't mad at you. Check out the story. Now we was once two brothers of the same kind, quick to approach a ghetto cutie with the same line. You was just a little
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. If you are just now joining me today, this weekend, this week, man, listen, it's been rough. Today started with grief. Somehow grief turned into a conversation about legacy. And we were talking about the murder trial of 2Pac'ss Shakur. Almost 30 years after Tupac died, people are still deciding what his life meant. A gangster, a poet, a revolutionary actor, activist, troublemaker, leader. My answer, he was human. He was complicated, and black people deserve the right to be complicated. We shouldn't have to become saints after death for our lives to matter. So here's what the reason and the purpose of me talking about this is because we were talking about Nolan Wells' case. We were talking about the youth at State Fair and how we hold young people accountable for one decision. Sometimes it's multiple, but one decision in 5 minutes, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, that dictates who they are. Even if we don't know, right? It dictates who they are. We don't know what type of grades they get in school. We don't know what their upbringing is. We don't know what they sound like. We don't know anything about them. All we have to go off of is whatever it is that we see based off of what someone recorded. And that is exactly what happened with Tupac. What's frustrating me, and I said it earlier for those who are joining me, I'm not being subjective. I'm not making this just about him, right? But I also don't like to gossip about people, especially celebrities. And I am a little biased because I'm on the board. So I have a responsibility, and I want the responsibility of protecting his legacy, especially because he never made it past 25. But what's frustrating me the most about this case is that they continue to make it about gang affiliation. They continue to say that it happened because it was retaliation due to what transpired inside of the MGM Grand. Now, is that a part of it? Yes. But again, everything that I speak about is my personal opinion. It's not facts. This is my personal opinion. I want y'all to, for those who like to watch true crime and all of this and like to dissect cases and stuff like that, follow me. Even if you don't, just for the sake of what happens to our people every time we attempt to take a stance or do something to better our people. You're telling me that a 25-year-old successful actor, poet, writer, artist was murdered and assassinated because of gang affiliation. We're talking about someone who comes from a background of politics, the Black Panther Party, the Black Liberation Army. We're talking about someone who was raising the minds of the masses of the people at the time, the youth, right? Someone at such a young age who was making an impact so large that the vice president had a full press conference about the music that he was making, so much to the point where he went back and said, now I got to make Keep Your Head Up. Now I got to make, So Many Tears. And that was a pivotal moment because that's where some of his music started to change. We talking about somebody who's seen 2 off-duty white police officers illegally jumping a brother and decided to take matters into his own hands and beat the case, right? We're talking to about somebody who was jaywalking, quote unquote, and was physically assaulted by LAPD and won that. You understand what I'm saying? So there was so many different things throughout the years that happened where Pac showed who he was and what he stood for. And that was his people. And even after his people, meaning our people, shot him the first time, right? He still didn't have it in his heart not to represent us the way that he wanted to. He still didn't have it in his heart not to be who his mother raised him to be. He always remained loyal to his standards and his principles. And when you come from an upbringing like that, especially when you're dealing with a label or whatever you want to call death row at the time, because sometimes I don't know what to call it. But when you're dealing with the entity like that, and you live in a certain climate, and you create literature such as Thug Life Code of Conduct that applies to all street tribes to find some balance when it comes to having a code in the streets where whatever it's about the people. You're not supposed to bring harm to elders and to the youth, right? You're not supposed to, do this or do that. We're talking about somebody like that who was around someone who came and grabbed him out of prison when no one else would. Do you understand what I'm saying? He went to jail for false. Let me be clear about this too. He went to prison for false allegations of rape. So the media did a number on him by painting him as someone who will harm a black woman when we all know that's not who he is. And the actual charge of him going to prison, in which they gave him the max amount of time, 5 years, was for touching her ass. It was not even for raping her. It was for touching her behind. And he gets 5 years. And everybody who was supposed to be by his side, including the record labels, did not provide him any type of funding, wouldn't take his call, wouldn't take care of his family, none of that. We're talking about someone who was 24 years old at the time. So think about someone at that age. They're in prison, right? Mind you, his mother was pregnant with him while she was in prison. His stepfather was in prison his whole life. And he has the last name Shakur. He goes to prison. The only person to come to his rescue is Suge Knight. And you telling me that a 24-year-old would not give him his loyalty? The 24s, you're telling me that a 24-year-old who went through everything he went through, that's in prison where they are, it's a even bigger target on his back just because of his bloodline and his last name, that he's not going to somehow show his unwavering loyalty towards the very person who came and put him out of prison. And that loyalty has no limits. I'm not speaking for him. Again, this is just my opinion based off of being that age, being around people that age, right? You automatically want to show your appreciation by saying, no matter what it is, I got you. We also know about the West Coast, East Coast fake beef. And what I mean by that is because the media hyped it up so much and made it a thing when all actuality, it wasn't like all of these West Coast artists were against a whole bunch of East Coast artists. It was orchestrated, in my opinion. It was orchestrated. And they covered it up so good to make it look like it had something to do with gang activity. And then when you go back and look at the articles, I don't know how many of y'all been watching this story, but a day after, 2 days after the trial started, one of the number one investigators was found dead. Not just any investigator. This was a NYPD detective who was signed to rap cases, to cases of rappers who have been murdered since the 90s. All of a sudden, he winds up dead 2 days later, and the news article did not state what the cause of death was. The cause of death was unknown at this time. Again, a lot of people are sitting back looking at this like, oh, it has something to do with Orlando Anderson. Oh, it has something. This is 30 years. Some people still think he's alive. No one's paying attention to everything that's adding up. No one's paying attention to the people who were involved behind scenes. And yes, I'm going to talk about it because it's been 30 years. And despite of how anyone feels, everybody know that this is a big part of the hip hop community, the hip hop culture. And we do deserve answers, right? We do deserve answers. And we do want to know what happened. But most importantly, we want to keep the legacy alive. That's what it's about. We want to keep the legacy alive. So, when we come back from break, let's continue to dive into this as well as some other things. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Can you picture my prophecy? Stress in the city, the cops are topping me. The project's full of bullets, the bodies is dropping. They ain't no stopping me. Constantly moving while making millions. Witnessing killings, leaving dead bodies in the abandoned buildings. Carries the children cause they're illin'. Addicted to killing and the appeal from the cap villain. Without feeling, but will they last or be blasted? Hard-headed bastard. Maybe you'll
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Looking to discover and support local businesses in our community? Then make sure you tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. to Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman for What the Business Is, powered by We Energies. Each week, you'll hear from local business owners as they share what their business is, where they are located, and one valuable lesson they've learned along the way. We Energies is proud to help power local businesses in the communities they serve. Don't miss What the Business Is every Friday at 8 a.m. only on Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman, powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local businesses. What's up, Milwaukee? It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. You are officially tapped in. If you are just now joining us, I am providing live updates of the 2Pac Shakur murder trial for those who are my generation or older. I know y'all can't remember where you was at that exact moment that it was all over the news. It's been 30 years. People has had their own opinions about what happened. Some still think Pac is alive, so on and so on. Whatever the case may be. But this is extremely a big case for our generation in particular. Never thought we'd see the day. And there's so much that's involved. I'm not here to spectate. I'm not here to state facts. I'm just here to provide information and give my opinion. So today, the opening statement happened. There is a witness list of 200 people total. And I believe they heard three witnesses took the stand today. They also had some tech issues. The next witness that they're calling or have called is a LAPD investigator. So the prosecution has called retired Los Angeles Police Department investigator Fred Miller as its next witness. In 1997, Miller was assigned to the murder investigation of Christopher Wallace, known more commonly as Biggie Smalls or Notorious B.I.G. And at that time, he had received information that Keefe D, who is on trial for the murder of Pac, may have been a suspect. And apparently he was joining the court from Zoom, where he was covering up his camera for whatever reason. They heard the opening statements. They heard from him, and they've also heard from Gary Dale, who is Las Vegas police officer who put over Suge Knight and 2Pac Shakur the night of the shooting. So a lot of people don't know. Whew, crazy, right? A lot of people don't know that prior to this taking place, Suge and Pac was actually put over by police officers. There was an encounter. Why were they put over? Not sure. I'm pretty sure is in the live feed of the court case today. I'm sorry, of the courtroom today. But yes, that is a fact. They were put over prior to the shooting. Another witness that they called was Ingrid Stokes, who was in the car ahead of Suge and Pac when the shooting happened. Her and her girlfriends were going to meet them at the club. They've also called Brent Becker, a former homicide detective with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. So, with this, things you need to know about the jurors on this trial. They are heavily guarded and isolated during the day, but are free to return to their homes at the end of each day of court up until final deliberations. Typically in high-profile cases like this one, even though jurors are instructed not to look at any media reports, it can still happen, according to the defense attorney and former prosecutor. And to the extent that they could be at least partially, isolated, it hopefully shields them from things they should not be considering. They should only be focused on the evidence and the law given, which was a statement made by the prosecutor to CNN. And all of this is according to CNN. Now, Suge Knight, he was timid when he showed up to talk to the police with his 3 attorneys, but he's been all over social media stating that he does not want anything to do with testifying in this case. A former homicide detective said former Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight appeared rather timid when the executive showed up to talk to police after September 1996 shooting with 3 attorneys, since police considered him a victim in the case. Becker testified earlier in the day that he thought Suge Knight had lied in his interview with the police. He said to us his interview was very practiced and he was very timid, and I thought he lied to us. He just didn't know anything. And obviously, if you been around the street culture or a part of it, you already know how that goes. Certain things they're obviously not going to say. And a lot of people are speculating that he don't want to speak because he has something to do with it. It could be because there's other information that people don't have, and maybe it's a way of him protecting Pac. I don't know. But at the end of the day, for him to say he doesn't want to do it is crazy. It makes me skeptical. But most importantly, I don't even think he have a decision. If they really want to subpoena him, they will. Let's see here. Former Las Vegas Metro Police homicide detective Brent Becker is now being cross-examined by defense attorney Michael Samt. So again, this is currently happening now in real time. There is over 200 people who are expected to testify in this murder trial. I seen something earlier that mentioned potentially having Puffy testify in this trial as well, in which I don't know why they wouldn't. I'm eager to see the documents. I'm eager to see who's all in the documents, all of the witnesses that are listed. I wholeheartedly believe, my own personal opinion, I do not have any information, was not given any information, but just from following the case throughout the years and just paying attention, right? I truly believe that there is so much going on with this case that's underlying, that is going to expose so many different people in so many different arenas, from elected officials to rap artists to security to police departments to all of the above. And it's being portrayed again as something pertaining to revenge because of gang affiliations and all of that. But it's, in my opinion, much deeper, especially if you know the family he come from, especially if you know the things that he has done. And I believe that if done correctly, this may force a lot of people's hands, and this may bring down some high organizations, right? Was it a hit because of street violence, or was it an assassination? I believe it was an assassination. I don't believe he was murdered. I believe he was assassinated. I believe that file that's been on him and his family for all of their lives, I think that file was played out because he was starting to change the minds of the masses of the people. And even though he's no longer with us, tell me I'm wrong. When you go everywhere worldwide, they know who he is. Every country, every ethnicity, everybody. And imagine if he was still here today, the work he could have done. Some of the things that, if you guys ever heard the phone call he had, and he was talking about actually the situation in Milwaukee when he did a concert at the Mecca, which is the old, which is now the, it was the U.S. Sailor Arena. It's now the UW Panther Arena. But Pac came here in 1991, 1992, something like that. And he did a show. If I'm not mistaken, I know Tony Neal was there. MC8 was there. It was so many different people there. And there was a phone call where he was explaining it, right? They did the show. At this time, he wasn't understanding that Like, he knew Milwaukee wasn't Chicago, but he wasn't understanding that the street politics was two different things. So while he's performing at the Mecca and he's he's angry about what happened with Yummy. For those who don't know, Yummy is the young man who was killed by gang violence in Chicago during that year. And a lot of people that was affiliated with that street tribe was at the concert. And they was throwing up gang signs. And Pac was like, hold on. And they was singing his song. And he like, hold on a minute. Y'all over here rapping about this, but y'all just killed that kid in Chicago. And he's not understanding that the street tribe here is not the street tribe in Chicago, even though they claiming the same street tribe. He just know that this specific street tribe was responsible for killing Yummy. And now he hears and sees them singing his song, throwing up gang signs in the audience. So in his mind, they the ops, right? And he can't promote that. He can't promote people singing his song after they just killed the youth. So long story short, and again, if you were around during that time, you know, but I want to reiterate it, especially for the youth who may not be aware or the younger generation. So during this time, they start throwing stuff at Pac on the stage. This happened right here downtown Milwaukee. Throwing stuff, rushing the stage, is going down, right? He runs out of there. And if you go and watch the interview with MC8 and how he was acting like he was just there, throwing bowls and doing all this, man, listen, they tore that stage up. Pac was gone. By the time they got backstage, he was already downtown at the hotel, right? Already downtown at the hotel. And it was because of the situation with Yummy again. So there's a recorded phone call of him talking about this incident that happened in downtown Milwaukee. And a lot of people don't know that. Shout out to DJ Tony Neal, because we talked about this on the phone for hours. A lot of people don't know that hip-hop concerts was banned until 1999 in Milwaukee because of the situation that happened at the Mecca with Tupac concert. Because he stood on stage and confronted them about the stuff with Yummy, they didn't allow rap concerts here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the next concert that came was like the Hot Boys or something with Cash Money. But from 91 or 92 until then, there was like a ban in that facility for hip-hop concerts. And he got on there and he was talking about it on that phone call. Man, I was in Milwaukee. I seen them in the audience and I'm like, hold on, y'all singing my song, but y'all just killed Yummy. Not knowing that this not the same street tribe as Chicago, right? And he was having these conversations. And one of the reasons why I really, truly loved bringing his entire family here a couple of years ago was because I know that there was some conversations about him coming back, and that never happened. It never happened, but there is deep history here in the city of Milwaukee with 2Pac Shakur. And if you was around back in the 90s and you went to that concert at the Mecca, call me, 833-212-1017. We already know. But the reason, again, of me bringing that up is because no matter where he went, he stood on what he stood on. No matter how many people he was against, he stood on his principles. He stood on what he stood on. We are talking about the Tupac murder trial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Do not touch that dial, 101.7 The Truth.
Every day, Veolia and MMSD work together to ensure that Milwaukee's water system exceeds the high standard it's held to, protecting Lake Michigan and its rivers that run through our neighborhoods. That's 220 local employees who care about their jobs, running a system that's earned national recognition for excellent performance. But they don't do it alone. They are supported by locally owned small businesses, women-owned businesses, and minority-owned businesses. For 18 years, making our waterways cleaner all the time. Veolia, Milwaukee values, committed to its future.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Father, help us all. Since you supplied your phone number, I can't help but call. Time for action, conversating, we relaxing, kicking back. Got you curious for thug passion. Now picture that. Tongue kissing.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct at the American Family Insurance Studio in the beautiful heart of downtown Milwaukee. If you are just now joining us, before we went to break, we were talking about 2Pac'ss Shakur murder trial, and I was telling people about the situation that happened when Tupac came to Milwaukee in 1991 or 1992 to perform at the Mecca, and how he mistaken one of our street tribes with a street tribe from Chicago because they were under the same branch, and confronted them about singing his lyrics, knowing what they did to Yummy. And they began to rush the stage and start throwing stuff on the stage and so on and so on. But we were talking about the fact that no matter where he went and what he did, he stood on principles, and how 30 years later, they are still running with the narrative that it was due to him being around gang members and all of this other kind of stuff. But again, my personal opinion, when we look at his background, where he come from, where his family come from, his last name, the fact that in 1990 he was jaywalking and was brutally beaten by Oakland Police Department and was able to sue them and won. And then you fast forward and he's in Atlanta, and it's two off-duty white police officers who had illegally taken a gun from the evidence room and was harassing a brother, and he seen it. He didn't know they was off-duty officers. He just got out and did what he did, and he ended up shooting them. One of them he shot in the butt. And that's that clip where you see him walking out of court like George Jefferson and got away with it. Right? And that was, in my opinion, hold on. Come on now. His last name Shakur, and we can't have this. So what do? The ultimate setup. Send him to the studio. We're going to set him up with a young lady, put her in a room with him, have her say that he raped her. This is Pac we talking about. We know how he feel about black women, right? All of that happened only for the media to continue to run with the narrative, the false narrative, that he sexually assaulted this woman, when the charges was simply for touching her buttocks. And the judge gave him 5 years for that. Everybody left him in prison. His record labels, people that they said would look out for him. And for those who never been in prison before, obviously prison is rough, but imagine going to prison with the last name Shakur. Imagine going to prison with your mother name Afeni, right? Now all bets are off. I can't even imagine the circumstances he was in. And the only person that came to his rescue, or the only person that was sent to his rescue, was Suge Knight. So now he feels a certain loyalty owed to him. So he's not looking at, oh, he's a part of this street tribe and he's not a part of this street tribe. He's looking at, man, this man came and got me and gave me 2 mil, 3 mil, and got me a house and all these whips. He's 25, 24 at the time. This man came and got me out of prison. I owe him my loyalty beyond measures. So now whatever goes on with Suge and Death Row and whatever, yes. So when people be saying he tried to be something he wasn't, it had nothing to do with that, you fool. When somebody do something for you, whether you know if they have good intentions or not, if you assume their intentions are pure and you feel like they saved your life, you're going to be down with whatever they're down for, period. And the reason why I say I believe he was assassinated, because the way that this was orchestrated, it appeared when you add the timeline up, you can't tell me that it's just over some rival street gang beef. That was an assassin. That was a hit. And it could have been a government hit. I don't know. But when you look at the history with his family and his history that he has had with the police department and beating them in cases, he beat a jaywalking case. He beat a case where they beat him so bad and he won a lawsuit. He beat a case for shooting 2 off-duty white police officers. One got shot in the ass. The other one was in court looking dumbfounded too, because they took a gun illegally from evidence room, bothering a brother on the streets of Atlanta, and he did what he's known to do. He had no idea that they were who they were. But him protecting that brother exposed it all, and he won that. That's not normal for somebody with that last name. There was a whole COINTELPRO that was going at his entire family. He was changing the lives and the minds of the people. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier. People are not afraid when young black people, first of all, youth has always led the movement. When you look at Dr. Martin Luther King, when you look at Malcolm X, when you look at all of these people, they started off young. Chairman Fred Hampton, they all started off young. So when you have somebody of that magnitude that comes from a background of that magnitude and they're changing, no, he's not forcing young black people to be angry. He's forcing them to think on a completely different level. He's changing the minds of the people. Right? Now, here's another part. The minds of the people that he was changing was not only people like me, but people of his age bracket who so happened to also be the brothers who were a part of the 1994 crime bill mass incarceration. So the people that he was reaching are the very people that they started to grab and lock up, that they started to grab and incarcerate. You can play dumb if you want to, but the proof is in the pudding. He started to reach the minds of the masses of the people, so much to the point where the vice president had to make a press conference about him. So to tell me that it's over gang rivalry is like you want to be blind to the facts. You want to actually believe that all of this had just... Could that be part of it? Absolutely. But to me, I just feel like it's a cover-up. I just feel like when it comes to people that lead our leaders and people that fight for our people, it's always going to be the same scenario. J. Edgar Hoover said it in the COINTELPRO documents that was against Chairman Fred, that there can never be the rise of another Messiah. This is document. This is history. These are facts that I'm talking now. This is proof. That is what came out of his mouth, which means anybody after that who even attempt to believe that they are going to raise up the masses of the people got to go. Don't matter how you do it, which way you cut it, it got, period. That is the hardcore truth. That is the truth that the media is scared to say. That is the truth that the lawyers may be scared to say, or the prosecutors. But it is the truth. So if they want to lead with the fact that this has something to do with revenge because of what happened in MGM Grand, as long as it exposes the entire truth, cool. But what you cannot do is make it seem as if that is the only reason why Pac is no longer with us. You got to do, when you pay attention to how these people move with people who uses their voice to help their people and change the minds of their people, come on now. We've seen it too many times. The past 30 years, how much evidence is lost in 30 years? How much physical evidence is lost in 30 years? Especially if this was done by a specific human being that I'm not even going to say. And they got paid officers on payroll. Right now, they're only attempting to charge him based off of him orchestrating it. They're not saying that he's responsible physically. They're saying that he orchestrated it. Because the only other two people other than Suge Knight are deceased. Keefe D. Davis and Suge Knight are the only ones in both of those cars who are still breathing and alive. They have nobody else or nothing else to go off of. So again, you will be a fool to assume that this only has something to do with street gang retaliation. It's way deeper than that. And if you know the history of him, his family, the fight, the things, just this country in general, when it comes to anybody of African descent who wants to have a voice, who wants to make our people more conscious, they instantly become a target. They say I remember watching that Malcolm X movie where they say that's too much power for one man. That's too much power for one man. Remember that? He was lined outside with NOI and he didn't say a word. All he did was point his finger one direction and everybody turned that direction. And he turned it again and then they turned it again and start marching. And that police officer said that's too much power for one man. And you telling me that they didn't feel that way about 2Pac'ss Shakur? Come on, man. Let's talk about it. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Got to go to break. Do not touch that dial. 101.7 The Truth.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jackamick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
One on 1.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. If you are just now joining us, we've been talking about the murder trial of the late great 2Pac'ss Shakur, and I was really putting y'all on game, you know, and being transparent. The fact that people actually believe and that the media is painting this to be strictly due to an altercation with Orlando Anderson is insane. The fact that they're saying that all of this has happened strictly because of revenge for street tribe beefs is insane. When you know his last name, when you know the family he comes from, when you know all of the above, right? He got away with, not got away, but they beat him horribly. Oakland Police Department over jaywalking. He won that. Caught 2 white off-duty police officers bothering a brother in Atlanta. Didn't know they was off-duty police officers. End up doing what he do. Won that. Right? And I was also talking about the timeline when it comes to any of our people having a voice. And the fact that this has played out so many times, I reference J. Edgar Hoover and the COINTELPRO documents, where he stated that based off of the works of Chairman Fred, that there can never be a black messiah, that there can never be the rise of a black messiah. So what is the COINTELPRO? The COINTELPRO is a counterintelligence program, a secret domestic intelligence operation that ran primarily from 56 to 71. Now, I can't say that it only ran during that time. Hey, if you know, you know. But it was created initially to disrupt the Communist Party of USA, but it expanded dramatically. By the 1960s, the FBI targeted a wide range of political and social movements, including the Black Liberation and Civil Rights Organization. Black Liberation Army was his stepfather, Dr. Mutulu Shakur. The Black Panther Party, his mother, Afeni Shakur. Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Student Nonviolent Coordinated Committee, American Indian Movement, Puerto Rican Independent Activists, anti-Vietnam War organizations, New Left groups, and the list goes on. One of the most consequential examples of FBI's campaign against the Black Panther Party and other black political organizations. The FBI's own documents reveals objectives such as preventing the rise of a black political leader who could unite groups. The FBI became concerned about Chairman Fred Hampton. And in 1969, an informant provided authorities with information about Chairman Fred's apartment. Chicago police conducted a raid in which Chairman Fred and the Black Panther member, Defense Captain Mark Clark, were assassinated. What does this mean? Exactly what I just said. When you go back and look at the history of his family, of his last name, and how they've been targeted since the 1960s, then you will understand that this case is far more than just gang rivalry. It's far more than just catching somebody at the MGM Grand and, oh, they beefing over somebody's chain being snatched. Is that a part of it? Absolutely. Could it have been a part of a cover-up? Absolutely. To make it look like it's all about that. But if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Especially when it comes to, again, any of our young Black people attempting to bring awareness to the masses of the people. Shout out to the chat. My sister Katrina Johnson from Florida. Hey, Trina. She said, praying for you, sister. Thank you. Thank you, sister. I love you dearly. And I did good. I pushed through this show. For those who are joining us, I was saying earlier that it started off with grief because it was rough coming here today, waking up today, getting on the radio show to have a conversation about anything was rough for me because I lost 2 people that I know back to back. If you watched the interview with me and Homer a couple of weeks ago, I explained how Homer introduced me to Smalls, and Smalls changed my life and have been a part of my journey. And he passed away this Saturday. And then I got a call from Kawanda yesterday at 3:00 in the morning because her brother, who was a friend of mine, passed away as well. And it was rough. It was extremely rough for me to get up. It was extremely rough for me to try and not to break down and all of that stuff. So I appreciate the prayer, sister. I appreciate everybody reaching out. As we end today's show, my call to action is to make sure that you are in alignment. Make sure that you are in constant communication with the people that you love. And if there is someone or multiple people who have assisted with your success or changing your life, whether it was financially, whether it was advice, whether it was guidance, please don't wait until they transition or pass away before you express to them how you feel. I am grateful enough that the people I love and care about who has assisted me and continue to assist me, that I always let them know I'm grateful. And Smalls was one of them. I always told him how grateful I was for him and that I wouldn't be where I am today. I tell Homer all the time too. And I'm going to continue to tell those who played that part because you don't know what it would do for them. I just wanted him to see me become the woman I am today and know that the hard work he put into guiding me paid off as well. And although this is a very difficult moment and I'm going to miss him, I was saying earlier, the thing about grief, when someone doesn't die by gun or violence, is actually just as difficult because you don't have anybody to blame. You don't have anybody to be angry at. You literally just have to take whatever you are feeling, sit in it, and deal with it to the best of your ability. And the unfair part is you have to go back to living your normal life every day, not as if nothing happened, but you just got to go back to living. And that's the part that's unfair. That's the part that hurts the most. So if there is someone who played a significant role in your life, no matter if y'all talk or not, reach out to them and tell them thank you. Start thinking about the conversations that y'all had. Start thinking about some of the things that they have said to you that have contributed to you being successful. Start checking on them. Start talking to them more often so that they can know before they leave this earth that they are appreciated, because it does matter, right? And again, Smalls played a huge part. He took me to Atlanta, introduced me to Zaytoven, put me on Zaytown USA. After that situation was done, he didn't leave. He stayed. He stayed in my life and guided me towards the right direction. When everybody else was around me watching me make mistakes and not helping me, he did the opposite. And he did it so much, he was my accountability partner. When everybody was saying yes, he was saying no. Nah, you could do better. Nah, I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I seen it, but that's mediocre. I know you could do better. The conversations, the advice, the put me in rooms, the mentioning me when I'm not in rooms, the pushing me, the motivation, the determination, the truth, the honesty, connecting me and putting me in situations to help me feed my children, right? That man is responsible. He's a huge part of why I am where I am today. Conversations that people don't even know we had. So Smalls, I love you, bro. You mean a lot to me. And I truly, truly hope I made you proud. And I'm grateful that I got a chance to spend this lifetime with you. And in any lifetime, I have you as my big brother again. And we could do it all over again. And we're going to celebrate you. We're going to celebrate Bub. Condolences again to both Kawanda family and Smalls family. Joker, I love you. Homer, I love you, and thank you for introducing me to Smalls, because he was one of the best things that ever happened in my life. And I'm going to continue to big up Homer while he's here and give him his flowers, because they both played a huge part into where I am today and who I am. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with me. Make sure y'all pull up tomorrow at 4 p.m. We got my good brother Brad Fax joining us, and at 5 p.m. we got a Milwaukee legend. Joe Tucker will be in the building. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. Have a great evening in Milwaukee. I love y'all. Stay safe. Peace.